Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Book It Vince, the Wrestling Dream Match podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Martin Bennett. And with me, as always, is the boy wonder, Anthony Hall.
Oh, God.
Who is the
boy wonder?
Wonder.
Who could that be? Can I have some clues for this one, please?
Oh, well, they're the greatest wrestler in the world. They have a trophy that says so. They won it in a tournament.
Is it Shane McMahon?
It is Shane McMahon, yes. The boy wonder, Shane. I don't know what his middle name is. McMahon.
Shane Abernathy.
I mean,
Tuscaloosa McMahon. Shane O'Mac. Oh, it's rather basic. Shane Brandon McMahon.
Yeah, that's not as cool as Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah.
Well, that's. I love how that one was. We were just like, nah. No. It makes sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure that nickname was, of course, like the kind of more early years when he was fighting people. Like, what was it? I just remember his match with Kurt Angle, where Kurt.
Yeah.
What was it? He tried to throw him. The spot was, I think it was King of the Ring, where he was supposed to throw him through like glass on the stage, and they accidentally went to the wrong one, and they threw him into it, and he just bounced and fell on his head. And then they're like, "Oh wait, no, we were one over," and then they finally did the spot, and they threw him through the glass, the breakable glass.
Oh, WWE. Oh, the good times and the bad times. Oh, to NXT being executive produced by Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon.
Hey, you don't know. Could be good. Remember ECW? When ECW came back? That was... Anyways, welcome to this week's episode of Book It Vince, where we get to decide what happens, and we just suggest bookings out to the universe. So this week we're gonna book that NXT stays the way that it has been, it never changes. Please God.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the times of wrestling, professional wrestling in this day and age. At least we have AEW. But anyway, not to get too negative. No, boy.
And other things, other promotions are doing well also. It's just WWE, of course, has been under immense scrutiny over the last few months due to the releases, due to questionable decisions being made about personnel, due to NXT just basically not being a thing anymore. So RIP NXT from like 2013 to 2020.
So just a quick aside, we will get into the episode because Anthony does have a dream match booking for us today, and we'll get into that quick. But like, I'm trying really hard not to be like negative about like how things are going and whatnot, because there are some really great things in WWE and there's some really cool stuff. And of course, like all the people that are in the company that are like performing and stuff are awesome, amazing people that I want to watch weekly. I went to go pick up some Pokemon cards for the latest set that just released, and I went to a local gaming store here in Toronto, and I was wearing my Britt Baker shirt, and the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, Britt Baker, are you a AEW fan?" This is the funny thing is he said, "Are you an AEW fan?" He didn't say, "Are you a wrestling fan?" And I was like, well, I'm just a wrestling fan in general. And he was like, yeah, no, I've tried to watch WWE and I just can't anymore. And like, we're sitting there and I'm trying to just like have conversation with them just about like wrestling and stuff. And obviously we talked about All Out, which by the time this episode comes out, All Out will have already happened. So who knows what happened there? Probably some exciting stuff. Did a dragon appear? We won't know. But yeah, it was just hard to try to like be paused. Well, it wasn't hard to try to be positive, but I noticed that I was like, I'm trying to be positive about the things that happening. But then just like the whole NXT thing was like a sour note in the conversation of just like that things are changing, and it's like what was good is like, will it be the same? And yeah, it was just hard. And so then I was just like trying to talk about like the cool stuff happening. And then I just was like, well, I'll just switch to talk about AEW because clearly that's what this guy is into and is like actually excited about, rather than like the negativity of like the crap happening elsewhere. So,
yeah. And All Out is going to be crazy. Of course, I am scheduled to work, but I'm going to watch it during my breaks, especially the end, because I think we're going to get several surprises at All Out. And of course, this episode is coming up on Tuesday, so these surprises will have already happened, and the internet will be abuzz when possibly a dragon appears, possibly the namesake of the Rancid song Ruby Soho. She could appear. Who else?
Adam Coleman.
Adam Coleman.
The Coleman.
You're right.
You never know. Coleman could show up and he could go bang instead of boom.
He was not called Adam Coleman before he came to the WWE, right?
No, he was just Adam.
Adam Cole.
Adam Coleman is a joke amongst up, down, down. The Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed's gaming YouTube channel with Tyler Breeze on it, Cesaro, and Adam Cole. And their whole joke is that when Breeze got fired, they're like, well, what do we call you anymore? And so they'll still say Breeze, but he jokingly said, oh, just call me Adam Coleman. And so then his whole thing is that he's taking Cole's like gimmick and then just like screwing with it, where like what was it? He tried to do the like the UE like hand sign, but he, instead of doing the E, he just did two like rock on like devil horn things. And Cole was just like, I don't do this, and it's not that anymore. He's like, well, it's Adam Coleman sing. And instead of saying boom when he does like the thumb thing, he's like bang.
Yeah. The two U's works for up. It's up and bang. Excellent.
So funny. But anyways, all right. Well, there's enough jibba jabba. I hope. Hey, if this is the beginning of the podcast, please let us know online if you enjoy our smattering of just shooting the shit and whatnot. If you enjoy these types of things on the podcast, and we'll do it more. Or if you just want us to do the booking, we'll shut up and just do the bookings. But if you listen this far,
well, shut up and figure it out.
Shut up and dance, monkeys. No. But if you have listened up to this point, hey, thank you. And if you are not subscribed already to the podcast, please do so. Podcast is available on all podcast platforms, and also video version on our YouTube channel. So come check that out. And you can also follow us on Twitter at BookAdvancePod. We're tweeting things, getting retweeted by big famous wrestlers. Posting really bad hot take opinions about stuff, getting in fights with wrestling journalists.
Hey, wrestling journalists.
Alrighty, all right.
All the fun things.
Let's get into it. We're like 8 minutes in. So Anthony, it's your week to pose a dream match.
In the spirit of us doing things with people with similar names, here's another one.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Here's another one. I like to call this one Everyone Loves Rey, and it is Rey Fenix versus Rey Mysterio.
Okay. I'm so into this. I
don't know what the storyline is. I haven't thought about whether it's very family oriented, like the SmackDown All My Mysterios storyline, or if it's just straight up Rey Mysterio showing up in an AEW, or possibly we can involve a CMLL in here to kind of or AAA or whatever to sort of do his like retirement tour. So maybe there's a mask versus mask match in here. Who knows?
Oh, okay, that'd be cool. So just so you remember, they have actually, well, I'm sure they've wrestled together or against each other in other situations, but in like big time wrestling popular culture, they tag together at All In.
Yes.
They were in the six-man tag main event match, the Golden Elite, which was Kota Ibushi and the Young Bucks versus Bandito, Rey Fenix, and Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
So they've worked together.
So they have a relationship, possibly. But I want to sort of do Rey Mysterio showing up because he is possibly part of Chavo Guerrero and Andrade's cohort.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
And them basically, and I guess Vicky is sort of part of that as well.
That's true.
And them getting involved possibly with Death Triangle. Oh, Death Triangle.
So I guess it.
Yeah.
Well, what I was about to say is like, I guess it's interesting because, obviously, again, we personally don't know what's going to happen on Sunday at All Out. But I truly think that the Lucha Brothers are going to win. If they don't, it's going to be very interesting because I don't know who they plan on ever taking the titles off of the Bucks. But like Lucha Bros, it makes sense. It was 2 years ago. They had that ladder match for the AAA titles, like, and the Bucks won. I think the Bucks won that one, or was it it was the Lucha Bros. I think so. I don't remember. But like, I've been wondering this the entire time during the Andrade and Pac. Angle is like, it makes me wonder if they are going to turn on Pac, but they're really good baby faces and people love them and stuff. So I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen with all that. But now that like WWE or AEW kind of has this like probably the best grip of like all the greatest lucha / like top Mexican wrestlers. It's like, would a heel Mysterio be in the cards to join with Andrade to then face the Lucha Bros, or have him come in and back up the Lucha Bros against whatever stable Andrade can get together to face Death Triangle? So it's interesting.
Yes, it is very, very interesting. And I think maybe if we set it up like it's immediately after All Out is when Rey Mysterio will show up, and if we basically book it like instead of the American Dragon showing up, it's a Rey Mysterio.
Ooh. Okay, so it's very possible that Daniel Bryan is showing up at All Out. Most likely. If he doesn't, but I'm pretty sure he is, obviously. But if it was Rey, that'd be so funny. This is our own world where we're like, okay, can I can I book how Rey leaves WWE?
Yeah, of course. You could do that very quickly for us so that we know.
Because I truly think this will happen. I just don't know when or if they're going to go through with it. I legitimately thought that at SummerSlam, it was Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I thought that they were going to lose or win. And it was going to be this thing. And it's kind of been the storyline so far is that Rey is a little micromanagement heavy over Dominic, and Dom is kind of like going his own way. And so they're kind of there's this like rift between them. I sincerely think that Dominic is going to turn on his dad and attack him. And I thought it was going to be a thing of like Rey like gets on his shoulders or something, and then Dominic was gonna electric chair drop Rey onto like the ramp or in the ring, and just like and like if they had won the tag teams, it's like he puts his dad up on his shoulders and then he drops him, and that's like their rivalry started. But imagine if like it's that Dominic like sends his dad out of WWE. and becomes like this new like weird top mid-card heel like of like I turned on my own father, who else, and then like and everybody's like terrified of him because like he's like the new like I'm crazy, I turned on my dad, I'll turn on anyone.
What if he like he goes like full Latino heat, and he just like he wants to follow in Eddie Guerrero's footsteps.
Ooh, that's
instead
good.
Of his dad.
Lie, cheat,
and
steal.
Then he just like has Rey on his shoulders, electric chair drops him, and then like takes a chair and just like beats the crap out of his dad in the ring. He like rips off that like weird kind of like Superman suit thing that he has, and he just has like the bottoms on, and he's like kind of raging, and that's like the final moments of Rey Mysterio's career in the WWE. And Dominic goes on to be like this kind of like pseudo Latino heat, like he like of course lie, cheat, steal. He like tries to get his own faction going with like Humberto Carrillo, and like, oh wait, is Humberto Carrillo even in the WWE anymore? I actually don't know.
I actually don't know. I think now I'm questioning if Angel Garza is even, because those two would be good. Is the Lucha House Party see, this is the problem now. We don't know who is in, who is out anymore. Is the Lucha House Party in there? I don't know. I know that what's his name? I think Lucha House Party still is, but I think the one dude isn't.
But if you did like a Latin World Order with like Dominic Mysterio, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, they're all pretty much the same guy right now, but like you have to like give them some different stuff. Except for Garza. Garza's probably the most like Eddie Guerrero-esque of the three. But
in a way,
if you could pair those guys up, that would be really cool. So that's another booking for another day.
All right, there we go.
But
when a future episode, the new Latino World Order.
Yeah,
in WWE.
And then so Rey Fenix and his brother are at All Out. I think they should lose to the Bucks. And Andrade comes out and he's like, well, Chavo and Andrade come out and maybe Vicky's there too. And it's like, oh, if you would have accepted our help, then maybe you could have been something. You could have made something of yourself. You could have got that gold finally for us, you know, for Mexico.
Ooh.
And then they're like, oh, whatever.
Are we going,
and they're
kind of
like
going the same direction? I hope.
I don't know. Let's see. You tell me what's going to happen now. So they come out and they cut this promo, right?
So they come out, right? The cage, that is the cage match, and the Bucks win. The cage lifts. On Andrade and Chavo come out, and even Vicky comes out. And they're trying to like basically say like, if you joined us, like we'll make sure that you get your rematch, or saying like the reason why you lost is because of Pac, because he's not here, because this being recorded on Friday, Pac versus Andrade has been delayed because of travel issues. I assume it's Pac trying to get back to the US or something. So they can say that like he abandoned you in like the biggest moment of your career and everything. And I think then the Lucha Bros like kind of say screw you, and they like push or attack Chavo or Andrade or something, and then Chavo and Andrade start attacking the Lucha Bros, like, and there's fighting and stuff and everything, and then all of a sudden you hear booyaka booyaka and Rey runs down.
Yeah. Or you hear the music and nobody's there. And then you see like a hooded figure like run in from the crowd and like slide into the ring, like drop kick Rey Fenix into the ropes, and he like goes like, you know, into the second rope. So and you're like, oh man.
So our two options are that it's either a hooded figure who comes in and sets Rey up for the 619, does it, and then reveal Rey Mysterio, or
obviously,
what I was thinking was the music comes and he comes down as if he's going to save the Lucha Bros. And then it's the thing of like him standing off again, like with them against Andrade and Chavo. And then he turns and then actually like attacks the Lucha Bros with them. And then that way Rey gets like that big cheer of like, oh my God, Rey Mysterio. But then it's like, boo, you suck. You attacked our favorite tag team. So I think either works. Either is a great chance for like big surprise and then boo, you know?
Yeah. I think it's maybe it is more impactful for him to like the music to hit and you're like, oh my God, Rey Mysterio's gonna go save the Lucha Brothers, and then he slides in the ring and just helps Chavo set up like Rey or Pentagon into the position for the 619. Then he hits the 619, and then all three of them, Chavo, Andrade, and Rey Mysterio, like take out Phoenix, and then they just stand over them and they, I don't know, do some sort of hand sign or like they hug each other or something, and it's like, this is heel Rey Mysterio. And heel Rey Mysterio is now in AEW. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That's cool. And now you have like these like two mega stars to challenge the Lucha Bros in a few matches. Maybe the following Dynamite after All Out. Let's say this is what happens at All Out. This is like one of, I don't know where the match is in the card for the Bucks and the Lucha Bros, but this would be a cool moment to maybe like, it's like the end of the first half of the pay-per-view going into the second half. Maybe there's like a blow off or something after this match and this moment. So then we go to Dynamite, and I think it would be very smart for Alex Abrahantes to cut a promo in the ring with Phoenix and Pentagon talking about how they've been disrespected, and they have helped put Lucha Libre wrestling in the mainstream, and they have what are you thinking?
Oh, I was gonna say, should it just be that they attack them, or should they try to like put one of them out? Because like that would get a lot of heel heat of obviously 619, yes, but then like taking a chair or something, and or just setting up like Rey helping hold up, Rey and Chavo help hold up like Rey Phoenix, and then Andrade does his spinning back elbow, or is that no, that's not his finisher. That's just one of his moves. But like, I forget what Andrade's finisher even is. Oh, it's the DDT.
Had the hammerlock,
hammerlock,
DDT. Okay. How about this?
I'm just thinking because then what I'm thinking is then on Dynamite, it's exactly what you said, except one of them's not there.
Yeah. So
exactly. It's either like Phoenix or Penta is out, and Alex is the one to like basically be like, you know, does he get that sympathy of like took out Penta or took out Rey or whatever.
And Alex is usually is he with Penta most of the time, or is he with the both of them? He's with Penta, right? Most of the time.
Penta says.
Yeah, because Rey Fenix like is actually like not bad at speaking English. Like he has. Like I'm pretty confident that
I
Rey
imagine
has, like,
I honestly imagine that
English skills.
I imagine that they both are. It's just that I think it was when Rey was injured, they're like, let's just put them. I would be very interested to hear from Alex Abrahantes of like how that all came to be, because it started out as like, well, because it started out as like a heel, right? Was that Penta? It was like Penta and Cody, I think, was the rivalry, and like Penta like cut a promo, and then he just had Alex, who is normally a part of the Spanish announce desk, then would like repeat what he said, and it just became a thing of like Penta says blah 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 blah. So how about this? Rey Mysterio shows up to attack everybody. He's 619's Pentagon, and they do the thing where like he puts him like, let's say Chavo and Andrade like shove Pentagon in the corner. Like, you know how when they put people in the corner, then they like shove the chair in between so they like can't move, like they can't get out. So his arms are kind of like pinned and the chair is like across his body. So he has to kind of watch the three of them just finisher spam on Rey and maybe like try to take him out. So that the next week they could do Penta says this and this and this and this. So it's you like get Penta, Penta delivers this like super impassioned like promo in Spanish, and then Alex has to
Penta's basically like to paraphrase, it's like I know my brother and I have had problems in the past, and I know the AEW fans wanted to see us beat the Young Bucks and we could not deliver, but the events after the match really were disrespectful to me and my family, and you don't mess with my family. And then like he's like so into it and he's like yelling, and then he just finishes and he like looks over, and then Alex is like, Penta says and he like just tries his best to just like explain exactly word for word that promo. But essentially it's like, don't mess with my family. I know my brother and I have not had the perfect relationship, and I know the AEW fans were counting on us to beat the Young Bucks, but we couldn't do it. But these people, these despicable humans come here and disrespect me and my family. I can't sit by and watch that.
Imagine if Penta gets to do his promo, right? And Alex starts to go into Penta says and translate. And then in the middle of Alex speaking, they get interrupted by Andrade.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
And then, but then there can be a moment within that is then where Alex Chavo is like saying something like back to him or whatever, or Andrade, and then like Penta just gets so angry and just yells on the mic, and then like looks over to Alex, and then Alex says like, well, if you would let me finish, Penta said, and then says like kind of like not the just of it, but like kind of the main chunk of it or whatever. That would be like, Phoenix looked up to you, Rey. No one messes with family. Now this is Fast and the Furious.
Oh my God. Is this what we're booking? Fast and the Furious?
No one messes with family, and basically says like, you're a dead man. And then fighting ensues.
And then like maybe Penta says like one more thing in the mic, and this is like a deliberate thing, and then he like says just like a quick thing, and you're like, what is that? And then Alex Abraham just takes the the mic, he says Penta says, and then you just hear beep, because it's like a deliberate him saying like Penta says fuck you, and then they just run into the ring and start brawling.
If there was a moment where the two groups were face to face, I think there would be a great moment for Penta to be like, and then because the issue too is like everybody that would be within these two factions fighting would know what Penta says.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the funny thing. It's just for us, the English speaking audience.
It's just for the fans. Yeah.
But what would be really funny is if Penta said something, right? And they're face to face, right? So like it's Penta, it's Alex, it's Chavo and Andrade. Maybe Rey is not there just yet. And Penta said something really quickly, and then Alex says Penta said, and then just takes the microphone and smokes Chavo in the face with it.
That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, I want to see Alex bump. Like let's see him take the moves. What's Chavo's finisher?
Chavo's finisher?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily remember.
Just a frog splash?
Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Chavo.
Pro Wrestling Fandom, our favorite source of every piece of info about our favorite pro wrestlers. Moves.
Okay. Also, while Marty is looking up that, if anybody from Pro Wrestling Fandom would like to be on the podcast, please hit us up at Book and Vince Pod on Twitter. Truly, we use the resource enough that if anybody who works for Pro Wrestling Fandom would like to,
do you want to know his finishing move?
Contributors.
Do you want to know his finishing move when he was Kerwin White?
No, but yes.
I love that it has it here, finishing moves as Chavo Guerrero, but then also as Kerwin White. Because if you don't remember, Chavo Guerrero for a quick stint went as Kerwin White. It's a suburban dad.
White, just some white face going on. Wow.
I mean, when then your finisher, right? When your finisher is then called White Out. Roll through into a single leg Boston Crab, which is fun. I guess because he's rolling into it like you would roll on Whiteout. I don't know. Anyways, as Chavo Guerrero, it's a frog splash.
Yeah, I knew it.
Adopted
I bet it's just a frog splash.
Adopted from and used as a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. He also has the Gory Bomb, which I don't know what that is. Oh. It doesn't say what it is. It just says Gory Bomb. That's it. And then the Guerrero Lowrider, which is just an STF submission move, crossface, and then
the gory bomb is pretty cool. The gory bomb is pretty sick. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'll put it up just for you to see, Martin. It's you can watch my phone through the webcam. Yeah, look at that.
It's that move. Okay,
boom.
so for audio listeners, it's getting the opponent on their back, hooking their arms, and then having them fall like face first behind you. So kind of like kind of like a oh gosh,
you wear them like a back. It's like you wear them like a backpack, and then you like drop them.
That's a great explanation. Wearing them like a backpack, and then
you wear your opponent like a backpack, and then it's like you whip off both your arms at the same time, and let the backpack just fall off your back, and you're sitting down. It's a backpack splat, aka gory bomb.
I'd love to see someone who is never who's never seen wrestling hear that explanation and then try to draw it out.
This is something we should do with maybe my girlfriend or like some of our other comedian friends who are not wrestling inclined. Like it should be, you should send her a bunch of like clips of wrestling moves, and then she'll try to describe it to me and draw out one of the moves, and so I'll try to guess what it is.
There should be two categories. There should be showing a wrestling move, and trying to guess what it's called, and there should be giving just the name of a move and trying to guess what it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Be really funny.
We're sidetracked. We're sidetracked. Okay, so basically, Pentagon and Andrade now have a match for the honor of the family, essentially. And Rey Mysterio has not reappeared yet. So we get this match
it could be that Dynamite opens with that, and then it's scheduled then later on in the night that they'll have a match. It'll be Andrade versus Pentagon.
Yeah. That, or it could be on Rampage on Friday.
Sure.
So that like spreads out the time a little bit so that we're like, ooh, we got this feud going. And then it gives another big draw for Rampage. It's Andrade versus Penta El Zero. So then I think on Rampage, you get this match between Andrade and Penta. I think Andrade has to go over by kind of shenanigans, or that Pentagon is like close to winning, and Rey Mysterio reappears again and helps Andrade win.
Classic heel tactics of distraction.
Yeah, just like
Chavo distracts the ref. Who's the easiest ref in AEW to distract? Rick Knox.
Yeah, definitely.
Distract the ref, and then Chavo distracts the ref, and then Rey jumps in from the audience and then hits Penta, and there you go.
Yeah. Not with like a 619 or anything, because that would be too easy. We don't want to overuse the 619. I think it's like either like a drop kick, or like he like maybe it's that like Penta goes for a top rope move, and he's like setting up, and like Andrade is on the ground, and then Chavo goes and distracts old Ricky, and then Mysterio runs in as a hooded figure and does a hurricana with Pentagon, like whips him onto like the pavement, or like he like goes up and goes like whoa, and like rips him down.
Hurricanrana.
Yeah, sorry, Hurricanrana. Hurricanrana.
Hurricane Ronnie.
Harry Kane Rana. Yeah, he does a Rana onto the pavement, or the whatever the hell you call it, the hardest part of the ring.
Onto the on the hardest part of the ring.
The apron?
Yes, the apron.
So then Andrade gets up, pulls Pentagon back in, hits him with a hammerlock DDT. 1, 2, 3. And everyone's like, what the? No. This is terrible. And Rey and Andrade and Chavo grab a chair and they're getting ready to take out Pentagon now. And Fenix and Pac, both of them show up to save Penta. And they brawl, bop, 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 bop. You know the bop, 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 bop brawling.
Should that moment be saved for the next week or later? Because I think it could just be sit in okay, the heels have established dominance, right? And then maybe in the next week, Penta gets a match with Rey.
Yeah, that's right. That's probably the right call.
And then that's when
it's overbooked, Vince. Overbooked.
And then Penta gets a match with Mysterio, and then that week, then is when Phoenix comes back, possibly Pac, or Pac at least comes back because Phoenix has been injured. So you could have this is a moment of
Pac comes down for the save because maybe Andrade shows up to accompany Rey ringside, and then Penta still only has Alex, who doesn't wrestle. He's just there, to cut promos and to be the hype man. But I think Rey is going to win, maybe, and it's due to Andrade's interference, and that's when Pac can run down, because technically in this fictional universe, Andrade versus Pac has not happened yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can make that happen. So they can just be brawling, and then Penta can hit the driver, the package pile driver thing onto Rey and pin him. And then that's that's 1 for 1. Each family sort of has one win.
Would you want Rey to lose in his debut match on AEW?
Yeah, no, you're right. He would not lose.
I mean, I think it really, for us being able to book whatever, it's not the biggest of deals, but it's also kind of oh, well, that's kind of weird. It is also sucky to have I think it's just this falling into what I really enjoy about AEW is that this kind of booking doesn't really happen a lot, where it's oh, well, then you have to have a match for the next week, or you have to have this. It's you can just have story moments. So even Penta and Rey can have a match, but it doesn't have to be right away. It can be a couple weeks later, just to build Rey up more. And give more breath to it instead of it being immediately or whatever. So it can stretch out a bit, because that way at least you're building towards this big moment of Rey Mysterio's first official match on Dynamite, Yeah,
you're right.
And I think,
so
I think then in that match, though, the finish instead would be, I think that this is a good moment for Pac to make his return, like we already talked about. But instead what happens is that Penta hits Rey with the pile driver, and when he's just about to 1, 2, 3, the ref's about to count it, either Chavo or Andrade pulls the ref out, or they distract the ref in some way to then stop the count or something, or distract the count. And so then Penta did pin Rey. Yeah. But it's not official. Yeah. And then that's when Pac comes down and starts fighting with both Chavo and Andrade. And then that's where then Penta gets up does like a splash move or something onto the group of them, gets back up into the ring, and then that's where then Rey trips him, 619, win.
Boom, you got it. That's it.
Because you're still kind of sitting on even ground there, but it was like Penta had Rey, but then because Rey is now a heel, he used the opportunity, boom, win. So then Rey officially wins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's better. So we've so far had basically a run-in attack. We've had Penta versus
and then they can beat them
Andrade.
all up afterwards because it would be a 3-on-2.
Yeah. Then we wait a few weeks. We don't get Penta versus Rey immediately. Maybe we save that for a future Dynamite, maybe 2 weeks from that. And then that's like Rey's debut, and that's versus Penta. And that initiates the return of Pac. So now we have the La Familia with 2 wins over Death Triangle.
So then I think in this time you could get like a really good sit down interview with La Familia. You could get either specifically Rey, or it could be Rey, Chavo, and Andrade. But I think if it's just Rey, it could be really interesting to be like, so why did you come here? Why join with them and stuff? And then it can be this whole thing about like, you know, you put a lot of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not metaphors, but you know, put a good spin on of like blood's thicker than water. Chavo needed more muscle, and Chavo is one of my oldest friends and family, and Andrade is the future of professional wrestling. I know the Lucha Brothers very well, and I've been disappointed with their I saw them before AEW, or I worked with them before AEW was ever even a thing. And I thought that Rey Fenix had the best potential in the world, and they've just floundered their opportunities for the past 2 years in this company. Losing all the big fights and stuff like that. So you could build it up that way. Where it is this
I like that.
Putting them down and then saying like basically like, yeah, I came here to stick with my family. And I don't know, as ending off on something like you never leave your family behind. And I will do whatever I can in order to protect my family.
Just like full Fast and Furious script, basically perfect. In hand. He's just reading it.
Dominic Toretto.
I like that. I think Dominic Toretto, Rey Mysterio. I think basically you've nailed it right on the head. They get to have a moment. It's maybe a sit down with Tony Schiavone, and it's like, Rey, I'm familiar with your work in WCW, and it's so great to see you again.
Just ignoring everything else.
It's like you've wrestled all over the world, and finally you're back, and you're here in AEW. And it's like, wait a second. What all these years you've been gone?
They wouldn't do that. It'd be Rey Mysterio. You're literally one of the greatest luchadors ever to be in professional wrestling. You've had moments.
Tony Schiavone is
moments.
Tony Schiavone. Yeah, he basically says like, okay, well, what brings you to AEW? And Rey Mysterio is like, I see this superstar, this man who is ready to put this company on his back and to represent Lucha Libre and Mexican wrestling. And he has not been given the opportunity. And when my family, my brother Chavo, came to help this man ascend to the levels that he needed to be, I knew that I had to come and give him that assistance, that extra support. This company doesn't see Andrade's potential like I do. They've been investing in Rey and Penta, who are well past their prime, are people that I've seen wrestle in Mexico, who I've worked with before, who maybe at one time had the greatest potential that I had ever seen in a Lucha Libre wrestler, in a luchador, but they have failed to meet expectations or to make the most of their opportunities. So I'm here to make sure and clear the waste, clear the garbage, cut the weeds, and make a path for Andrade to the top. It's like, oh damn.
Part of me kind of thinks like either like Rey would talk about how like he saw the star that Phoenix could be. But now that spot has gone to Andrade.
Exactly.
I do there was a part that I thought there while you were talking about what if Rey were to call Andrade the next Eddie Guerrero, but I think that's you can't. I don't think you can say that kind of thing anymore.
No,
because that's putting too much onto it, because then it's like, or Rey could say, this could be a thing that like Chavo even says, or someone, where it's like people say Andrade is the next Eddie Guerrero, but that's not true. No one can ever replace Eddie. Andrade is the first and only Andrade El Idolo.
Something like that. That's like that. Because it pays respect to that family legacy and like that background, but it gives like Andrade, it kind of puts Andrade over in the way that it's like, oh, now he's like free to be his own person and like has his like own sort of path cut out for him and his own expectations, and that's a cool setup to like have Andrade continue his feud with Pac, and it's like, oh, okay. But then him saying these things about Rey Fenix, about Rey like not having that potential anymore and not being the right person to carry the Lucha Libre legacy, to bring it to the mainstream, to be a top guy, that I think really would set off Rey and Penta.
Mm-hmm.
Because and then that's where like that will come to a clash, because of I think we set up Pac versus Andrade finally happening.
So
and
I thought about this. So because Pac came back and all that stuff, I think then you get a tag match. I mean, this could happen whenever, but I think this would be fun and a way for the Death Triangle to kind of get back a little bit. Is then Pac comes back, right? And then you have a tag match between, oh geez, I just saw the time. Pac comes back, and then there's a tag match between Pac and Penta versus Chavo and Rey Mysterio. And then in that, you can have Pac make Chavo tap. So technically Death Triangle gets kind of a win over them. And then that then sets up Andrade versus Pac finally. So I'm just trying to think of just because I'm seeing how much the time that we have left in the podcast, and that we should probably get to the finish soon. But I think then I think then, not to hurry things, but I think then that you can have Pac versus Andrade, and I don't know who wins at that. You can give your thoughts about who wins out of that. But I think then that's where Fenix makes his return. And then the week after that is then where Fenix gets to cut his promo, call out Rey Mysterio, challenge him to a one-on-one fight. And I don't know about mask versus mask, because that's crazy, but it could be mask versus mask. And then Rey was only in AEW for like this short stint.
Yeah, because I think that's a good way to like get Rey out, because like I don't know that he will be a permanent player. Like I think he's there just kind of for the storyline, kind of like how Jeff Cobb was like briefly in AEW just to like wrestle a few matches and to be kind of an enforcer. Like I think it's important for Andrade to go over against Pac if you want to continue Andrade's ascent to being the top guy. So I think Rey would help Andrade win. And then I hate like more brawls, but I think like Rey would help Andrade win, and Andrade and Rey would have Pac in a pretty like questionable like situation, and they would probably be trying to take him out, and that's when Rey comes back, Rey Fenix, and helps Pac, boom 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 boom, and we get, yeah, like you said, that promo the following week where it's like, you're not the Rey Mysterio that I looked up to, you are somebody totally different, you're selfish, you are disrespectful, and you don't care about Lucha Libre wrestling. You care about this man and this family only, your chosen family, but you've forgotten everything that has made you a great wrestler. And that's honor.
So I thought about this when you're talking. So when you're mentioning like, okay, when Rey comes or Fenix comes back, imagine how cool of a spot this would be. So it's Pac versus Andrade. And they're fighting, and yeah, the Chavo and Rey kind of start getting involved, and Penta is on the outside, and they're starting to brawl or something. And depending on what like arena they're in, maybe, or what like place they're in, like if it was Daly's place, that you could do something pretty cool with like the stage and whatever. But depending on where they are. Imagine if like they're fighting or whatever, they're on the outside, and then all of a sudden you hear or you see them and they're fighting, and they look up and they're like, what the hell? And you hear on commentary like Excalibur being like, what are they looking at? And then all of a sudden like it pans out and Fenix is like standing on top of the set, and then he just does like a swanton dive or whatever onto them, and it's like, oh my gosh, Rey Fenix is back.
I love that. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. Yeah. And then basically Rey grabs Pac and like pulls him back up to the Titantron, and you hear like the Lucha Bros Mexican, and then they're out, and the following week we get Rey's promo in the ring. Boom.
Really quickly, I think then the way that match finishes is that it distracts Andrade for a quick second. It looks like Pac, he turns around, he gets a heel kick or something. Pac sets him up for the Black Arrow. He goes to the Black Arrow. The problem is like, has the Black Arrow ever missed? Because I think he only pulls it out when he knows he is going to get it. But that could be a pretty epic moment, though, is that he goes for the Black Arrow. Andrade rolls out of the way. Then boom, hammerlock DDT into the pin and wins.
Yeah, yeah. Because Andrade has to go over, because I think his trajectory right now is to be like the top heel. So I think it's okay that like Death Triangle takes another loss, because what is about to happen is going to put over Death Triangle and Rey Fenix specifically like a lot, because he's going to come and he's going to cut a promo, or he's going to have a video package talking directly to Rey, being like, you're not the man that I used to look up to. You are a stranger. You are someone who has abandoned honor. You're selfish. You only want things for your family, for your friends. You're not considering all of the people that come before you and all the people that come that are coming now that are the present of luchadors and lucha libre wrestling. You've come here to disrupt everything, and you have taken shots at my family. You've tried to hurt me, and I want something from you.
Yeah, well, it could be that Rey, like, I think would make this a lot really impactful is that during this whole time, I think that Mysterio is kind of like I think that one like sit down interview is where like we get a real sense of like what Mysterio's character is now. But I think outside of that, he's like very like kind of sitting in the shadows sort of deal where he's not like out front. Yeah. Like if there's any like in-ring promo or any in-ring like talking moments, like, and those could be spattered throughout this where like someone they're going to talk, like Andrade's going to talk and Rey's just kind of there not saying anything. And Tony Schiavone like tries to get a question out of Rey and then Chavo like grabs the mic or whatever. And then like that gets interrupted and all this sort of stuff. You could have that be thrown throughout this whole rivalry. But then I think what happens is Fenix comes out and calls Rey out and says, you get your ass out here. I want to face you and talk to you one-on-one as a man. And then that's where like Andrade and Chavo comes out and he can be like, I don't want either of you guys. I want him alone. And then that's where like Penta, Alex, and Pac can kind of like step out of the ring and be like, no, we're giving these two space. And then Rey can be like, no, it's fine. And they go face to face. And then everything that you said about, talking about legacy and honor and all this stuff. And I think then Rey challenges Rey's honor and says like, you don't deserve to wear that mask anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it's these two kind of forces of present, exciting, and basically the current generation of lucha libres versus like the older generation, like the one that really truly brought lucha libre wrestling to the mainstream. And these two guys are clashing, and Rey Mysterio has called out Fenix and Pentagon for not making the most of their potential and their opportunities and not taking the steps they needed to be successful. So I think Phoenix is like, you called out my legacy, so I'm going to call out yours. And this is what, and Rey's like, well, you don't deserve to wear that mask. And it's like, how about this? Mask versus mask at whatever the next pay-per-view is that's coming up after All Out. Which is
full gear. It would be full gear.
Yeah.
But this could even be dragged out all the way. This could be dragged out all the way to Revolution even next year. But
yeah,
whatever. It'd be a really good pay-per-view match. And then the build up to this match would be very interesting because you have people, it's what I do truly love about what AEW does to build up matches is that you have all these people, like all these legends and all these people that have been within the industry for so long. Like even just this past week building up to All Out with Jericho versus MJF. And is it going to be Jericho's last in-ring match in AEW is like having Paul White and having Mark Henry and having all these people that like have seen Jericho's career, but then have this experience, like having them talk about it and hype up these matches is so interesting. So you could have Chavo Guerrero, you could have Excalibur, you could have you could bring in other people who know them very well, and also then you have this opportunity to really bring home what mask versus mask really means. And instead of like, mask versus mask, it's a fun stipulation. It's like, no, this is like in lucha wrestling, mask versus mask is a big fucking deal. Like it's a huge deal because you're taking away someone's identity. You're taking away someone's legacy. You're humiliating them. You're taking everything that they know or everything that everybody knows about them. Like, it's not just like what we've seen for the past however long of like, ripping off someone's mask. It's humiliating to finally see their face. It's like, no, like when they do mask versus mask wrestling in Mexico, in like legit lucha promotions, it's a big goddamn deal. Like it's bigger than a title fight sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think hyping it up to that extent would be awesome to see and be such a like emotional moment. And then just the match would be insane.
Yeah, and I think we get like the springboard cutter. We get the top rope like spinning kick. We get the muscle buster driver to like end the match for Rey Fenix. We get the 619, of course. We get a frog splash. We get a multiple hurricanes.
Hurricane Ronnie's. I want to
Hurricane
see
Rannies.
one of the moves that I miss so much about Rey Mysterio, and I assume it's just because as he's gotten older, he can't necessarily do it all the time, is when because now he does the 619 and it goes immediately into a frog splash, obviously for Eddie. But I miss when he would do the 619 and then he'd springboard off the ropes into a like where he would jump onto their shoulders and then he'd go in and then he'd do like a Hurricane Rana pin. Like he would flip them and pin them. Like I miss that move. And so it'd be cool to see that as well. But and Rey and Phoenix somehow kicks out.
Yes, of course. And yeah, you do have to just basically let these guys go wild and pull out all the tricks in the book. And
what is it? What is the move that Rey does where he does he slides out underneath the bottom rope into a flipping or into a somersault suplex into the barricade.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. God.
The match
this
would
match
be insane.
would be a
the
banger.
match would be insane.
And I think like, yeah, you get the finish is like, yeah, Rey Mysterio gets pinned and then it's like Rey Fenix just rips the mask and it's just like,
well, so is it
classic?
Is it that you get pinned and you get your mask taken off, or is it that the finish is you have to take someone's mask off?
Oh, well, let's not do the pin then. Let's just do straight up mask rip, because if they're ripping out their masks the entire match, like by the time it finishes, it'd be tatters. Like both of like one person's mask would clearly be off, and the other person would probably have like half of it off.
I think it comes down to like, yeah, that's a good way to break up the match too into like segments and stuff, is like then ripping at each other's masks and stuff and whatnot. But I think it is that Phoenix hits his finisher and then just kind of sits up Rey, and then that's the moment where he like rips off like the Velcro strap, grabs it, and just with one fell swoop.
Yeah. It just takes it right off
immediately
and then
covers his face, rolls out of the ring.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix just can stand there with the mask and just be proud. And then that's where Penta and Alex and Pac come down. And then eventually that can build to like Andrade versus like Penta and Andrade versus Phoenix and that sort of stuff. And that can slowly then build them towards whatever, and maybe Andrade a TNT title reign, or maybe even facing for a world title. So I think that's awesome. Like, yeah, it can build to be an emotional storyline, which is fun, and have all these like callbacks, but then also like really hit home about like Mexican lucha libre wrestling. But then also it's just like you are guaranteed a banger of a match. So I think that was a great one.
Yeah.
Let us know, listeners, watchers at home, in your car, wherever you're getting this podcast right now. Please let us know how you would want to book a Rey Fenix versus Rey Mysterio rivalry. Let us know online or on social media, or in your reviews of the podcast that you can leave for us. It would really help us out. To close out the episode, as always, we have our questions of the week and our match recommendations. if you want to leave us a question for us to answer here on the podcast. I almost screwed up my lines. I don't know why. If you want to leave us a question for us to answer here on the podcast, you can do so by just, leaving it in reviews, tagging us on social media, or of course you can go to our official website, unknownarafilms.com/bookadvince. There's a section there where you can leave a question and also check out all the other episodes and all our match recommendations. This actually kind of fits with the theme of our episode. And we won't get too into it because, you could talk about this for hours, but I forget where I saw it, who posted it. I think it might either have been Bleacher Report or Sports Store or some other like kind of news outlet on Twitter, where they had posted this thing a while ago where it was like, so the question this week is, what is your biggest wrestling what if? It also works with the Marvel series What If coming out. And if you don't know what that is, it's these fun questions that have been asked within the Marvel universe. So like, what if? So like a lot of them is like, what if, what was the one? Oh, one of my favorites is, what if the Green Goblin got the Infinity Gauntlet?
Right.
And so then I saw that was trending on Twitter of like, what is your biggest wrestling what if? I responded to that with, what if Owen Hart never passed away? And I think that also can get applied.
That's huge.
That can get applied to like Eddie Guerrero as well. It's like, what if these young, incredible wrestlers, what if they were still here? I think that's tricky because obviously when you ask what if questions, it then can build to this butterfly effect of, oh, would this have happened? Oh, would that have happened? Oh, blah, blah, blah. But I think it would just be cool to see Owen maybe eventually getting a world title reign, even though when he did pass away, when he was in WWE, he was kind of more of like a jobber, unfortunately. But with these other companies popping up, WCW and now AEW, and all these other places, like, what could Owen have done? He could have gone to TNA and been a huge star there and Impact. You never know. And then Eddie Guerrero, it's like he probably would have been with WWE for like a good long while and been like a big top guy, maybe gone away, maybe gone to a different company, come back, be in the spot of like a lot of these like legends of like pushing new talent. So, although I bet you if Eddie didn't pass away, we never would have gotten heel Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah, that's true. I think my biggest what if, maybe this is pretty recent, but like I've been thinking about this wrestler because he's complicated to me because like I think he's good, but at the same time he's been really poorly booked and his character has kind of sucked. And now he's not with any company. So my what if is like, what if they pulled the trigger on Braun Strowman at the right time? Like, what if he won against Brock Lesnar and he became the champion? Like, what kind of monster would we have in the WWE with a Braun Strowman title reign, like a proper one, like a Braun Strowman facing Roman Reigns at like a Survivor Series, champion versus champion? Like, that would be a pretty crazy match, right? And also, my other what if is, what if Jason Jordan didn't get hurt and American Alpha was like a real deal tag team on the main roster, like going for the titles? Like, they were my favorite. Like, I really, really liked them. And what if there was not a Kurt Angle illegitimate son story, and it was just like Kurt Angle saw their talent and he became just like their manager? Like, and what would like a heel American Alpha look like with Kurt Angle as the manager? Like, that would be so cool, right? Like, I'm very passionate about tag team wrestling, and I think, what if, like, yeah, American Alpha was around, Jason Jordan, they had a great reign, and then maybe they go to AEW. Whoa. Maybe they get another shot at FTR, because that was one of their big matches, was American Alpha versus the Revival, and that was awesome. So yeah, let's see that. Let's see American Alpha versus the Young Bucks, like that's
There's a lot
team
of
that was gone too soon. Soon.
There are a lot of like obviously there's big questions of like what if WCW had won? Like that's a huge crazy question where it's like, well, the trickle the butterfly effect of that would be like it's hard to even think of what could have been. But then there's some ones like you said, like another one that just quickly popped in my head about like injuries is like, what if Finn Balor never got injured after he won the Universal title?
Yeah, like how big of a star would he be now? Like obviously he's popular, but how popular could he really have been if he didn't get hurt?
He was the first Universal champion. What if he continued that title reign instead of having to drop it and then they went the direction that they did? Like, you never know. So yeah, let us know by tagging us on social media and stuff, or in the comments of the video podcast, what is your biggest wrestling what if? To finish off the episode really quickly, my match recommendation this week, because I watched it and I laughed and it was awesome because I listened to the AEW podcast. I've said that before. They recently had Bryce Rensburg on, who is a referee in AEW. And they asked him about the infamous Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan match. Have you ever heard or seen of this match, Anthony?
I have not seen this match.
Okay.
I've heard of this match, but I have never seen this match.
Best 10 minutes of your life. Just, you gotta watch it. It's two invisible men having a wrestling match. And the only reason that it works is Bryce Rensburg is an incredible referee, and he does such a fantastic job at officiating this match and making it believable. But also the GCW audience that was there that night watching it, them getting involved. If you didn't have a full room full of people chanting and going crazy for this match, it wouldn't have worked. So that's the match I'm recommending. True. It's 10 minutes. Go watch it. It's so good. Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan. Beautiful. Some craziness ensues. A dive off of a balcony. Sending people through wooden doors. It's crazy. So go watch it. This was a good one, Anthony. I really loved the idea of Rey versus Rey, but also it's just such a cool.
Everybody loves Rey.
Everybody loves Rey. So hopefully, maybe someday we actually get to see that. Who knows? But thank you for listening and or watching the podcast. Of course, you can catch everything that we do here at Unknown Error by following us online at UE_films. Check our other content online, our gaming videos, our live streams, all that fun stuff. You can follow myself personally online on Twitter and Instagram at Barton_Minute. You can follow Mr. Anthony Hall
at Hall and Jokes on Instagram and Twitter.
And of course, please come and follow the podcast on Twitter at BookAdvancePod. And also, let us know if you are a listener and if you don't have Twitter, is there another social that we should maybe grab up? And that way you can communicate with us better, just let us know. But of course, if you do have Twitter, come follow us and follow our live tweets of events, our fun goofs that we tweet out, our interactions with the wrestling community. Come and join. But yeah, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening and or watching. Have yourself a good one. Stay safe out there and go watch some wrestling.
Enjoy All Out. I hope you enjoyed All Out.
Enjoy it. Wait, no, I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, crap.
Yeah,
where are
I
we?
hope you enjoyed it.
Did Daniel Bryan debut? Please, God.
Yeah, I hope he did. Adam Coleman, you know what we're doing.
Bang. All right. Bye, everybody.
Boom, boom. Colt Cabana, boom, boom.